almost finished.
Wow, that is quite some time, huh? So, okay, so we know, even if you guys haven't had a lesson on this before, you guys know that stories, if you're going to be interested in it at least, it needs to have some sort of climax, right? It needs to have something exciting. It needs to have characters that you care about. I know, this is not a very nice projection screen. Huh? Yeah, I think the bunny is behind the screen, messing it up. Okay, so now we are going to actually apply this to reading because this is probably where you guys are going to come across it the most. And so we are going to read this story together. And as we're reading, I want you guys to start filling out your little plot pyramid diagram. And then afterwards, we will discuss it. So I want you guys to pay attention as we read this. So this should be very applicable to your lives because what is it called?
7th grade.
7th grade.
Who's Gary Sabo?
That is the author. Okay,
I
so
just wrote that name up there just for fun.
let's have somebody.
Can I read?
We're going to take turns reading if you would like. You don't have to.
I want to read.
So I want you to read, if you read, I want you to read in a loud, clear voice.
Oh, Emma can do that.
Okay, so. Okay, so.
Everything makes me laugh.
Okay, so we're going to start with Cassidy.
Okay.
Cassidy is going to read the first paragraph for us.
Can I read the second one?
Okay, Emma can read the second one.
I'll read the first.
Okay, you can read the third. So we've got a little order going on. So as we read this, remember, start to fill it out. If you want to wait until the story's finished, that's fine as well. So Cassidy, let's start us off.
Okay, on the first day of school, Victor stood in line half an hour before he came to a wobbly card table. He handed a packet of papers and a computer card on which he listed his one elective, French. He already spoke Spanish and English. He thought someday he might travel to France, where it was cool, not like Fresno, where summer's days reached 110 degrees in the shade. There were rivers in France and huge churches and far skinny people and fair skinny people.
Far skinny.
Shut up. Okay.
They're probably also skinny.
And fair skinny people everywhere. They were always the way they were brown people all around Victor. Besides, Teresa. Okay, sorry. Besides, Teresa, a girl he had liked since they were in Castellan classes at St. Teresa's, was taking French too. With any luck, they would be in the same class. Teresa's going to be my girl this year, he promised himself as he left the gym full of students in their new fall clothes. She was cute and good in math too, Victor thought as he walked down the hall to his homeroom. He ran into his friend Michael Torres by the water fountain that never turned off. They shook hands, Raza style, and jerked their heads at one another in a salado vibrato. Is that right?
I don't know exactly what that means, but it's at the bottom. We'll figure it out.
How come you're making a face asked Victor.
Okay, Noah, will you read the next paragraph?
I ain't making a face, Essie. This is my face, Michael said. His face had changed during the summer. He had read a GQ magazine that his older brother had borrowed from the book Mobile and noticed that the male models all had the same look on their faces. They would stand one arm around a beautiful woman and scowl. They would sit at the pool, their rippled stomachs dark with shadow and scowl. They would sit at dinner tables, cool drinks in their hands and scowl.
Okay, Sam, do you want to read the next paragraph?
Yeah. I think
Oh, sorry, I'm going to move it on you. There we go.
I think it worked like this. He scowled and rose up to the seashore along with Rosie and Lisa. Belinda raised up by a wild going with him, he said.
You want to read the next one? Yeah, Camry?
Victor didn't say anything, though he thought his friend looked pretty strange. They talked about recently call their parents in the corners of picking grapes in order to buy their fall clothes. Picking grapes was like living in except hot and more boring.
Okay, Jennifer, do you want to read like until line? I'm gonna like finish.
Okay. What classes are you taking? Nicholas and Scholarly? Fred, how about you? Spanish. I ain't so good at it, even if I'm Mexican. I'm not either, but I'm better at it than math, that's for sure. A tiny 3B bell propelled students to their homerooms. The two friends stopped each other in the arm and went their ways. Victor thinking, man, that's weird. Michael thinks making a face makes him handsome.
Okay, Samantha, do you read the next one?
Room 7.
12.
On the way to his room, Victor tried to scout. He felt foolish until out of the corner of his eye he saw a girl looking at him. He thought maybe it doesn't work. He smiled with greater conviction.
Okay. Who wants to read the next paragraph? David. Davis.
Oh, what thing number are we on?
We're on 13. The last one.
Okay, in the homeroom, roll was taken. Emergency cards were passed out, and they were given a bulletin to take home to their parents. The principal, Mr. Beltline, spoke over the cracking loudspeaker, welcoming the students to a new year, new experiences, and new friendships. The students squirmed in their chairs and ignored him. They were anxious to go to first period. Victor sat calmly thinking of Teresa, who sat 2 rows away reading a paperback novel.
I'm going to just finish up that one.
This would be his lucky year. She was in his homeroom and would probably be in his English and math classes. And of course, French.
Okay, Raylin, do you want to read the next part? You want to read lines 14 until 17?
The bell rang for the first period, and the students herded noisily through the door. Only Teresa lingered, taking with the homeroom teacher. So you think I should walk or talk to Mrs. Gaines? She asked the teacher. She would know about ballet.
Good. And then Braxton, do you want to continue for just a little bit?
Sure. 16?
Yeah.
She would be a good bet, the teacher said. They got it, or the gym teacher, Mr. Garza. Victor lingered, keeping his head down and staring at his face. He wanted to leave when she did, so he could bump into her and say something clever. Oh my
Do you want to
gosh.
read the next part? All guys like that?
He watched on
Pretty much.
He watched her on the sly. As he turned to leave, he stood up and hurried to the door, where he managed to catch her eye. She smiled and said, "Hi, Victor."
Okay, who wants to read the next part?
A guy should be.
How about Gabe? Do you want to read the next part? Sure. We are on 19. Yeah.
19. Okay. He smiled back and said, "Yeah, that's me." His round face flushed. Why hadn't he said, "Hi, Teresa," or "How was your summer," or something nice? As Teresa walked down the hall, Victor walked the other way, looking back, admiring how gracefully she walked. One foot in front. So much for being in the same class, he thought. As he trudged through English, he practiced scowling.
Okay. Let's see. Malin or Malin? Do you want to read the next part? Just read the next 4 or 5 lines.
In English, they reviewed the parts of speech. Most of the case are partly noun, MBIOS. What is a noun? A person, place, or thing with the class in unison. Yes, now somebody give me an example of a person. You, Rob, Victor Rodriguez, Teresa, Victor, set out. Some of the girls said everything. He had a crush on Teresa. He called himself blushing. I would love to.
Okay, so let's see. Let me move this up.
Teresa.
Okay, Catherine, do you want to follow on with where we are? we're on 25.
Mr. Lucas said, "Now provide me with a place." Mr. Lucas called out a freckled kid who had some Teresa's house with a kitchen full of big brothers.
You want to read the next paragraph too?
After English, Victor had math, his weakest subject. He sat in the back by the window, hoping that he would not be called on. Victor understood most of the problems, but some of the stuff looked like the teacher made it up as she went along. It was confusing like the inside of a watch.
Ooh, what's like the inside of a watch?
Confusing things.
Yeah, what is that? What's that term called again?
A simile or a
A simile? Yeah. Is the like?
Yeah, that's
Like the inside of a watch. Good. Okay, Sydney, do you wanna carry on? 28.
After math, he had a 15-minute break, then social studies, and finally lunch. He bought a 2-minute casserole with buttered rolls, some fruit cocktail, and milk. He sat with Michael, who practiced scowling between bites.
Okay, who wants to do next? Okay, Emma.
Girls walked by and looked at him. See what I mean, Vic? Michael scowled. They love it. Yeah, I guess so. They ate slowly, Victor scanning the horizon for a glimpse of Teresa. He didn't see her. She must have brought lunch, he thought, and is eating outside. Victor scraped his plate and left Michael, who was busy scowling at a girl 2 tables away.
Good. Tanner, do you want to start reading?
Yeah, which
We're at 32.
Want me to move it up?
Yeah.
Thank you.
He saw her.
Everyone was in a sunny mood. Victor
Or no, go up to, at the top, 32. The small triangle shaped
The
campus.
small triangle-shaped campus bustled with students talking about their new classes. Everyone was in a sunny mood. Victor hurried to the bag lunch area, where he sat down and opened his math book. He moved his lips as if he was reading, but his mind was somewhere else. He raised his eyes slowly and looked around. No Teresa.
Okay, good. Hannah, do you want to read it?
He lowered his eyes, pretending to study, then looked away to the left. No Teresa. He turned a page in the book and stared at some math problems that scared him. Things he knew he would have to do them eventually. He looked up to the right, still no sign of her. He stretched out lazily in an attempt to disguise his sleep.
Emma.
Then he saw her. She was sitting with a girlfriend under a plum tree. Victor moved to a table near her and daydreamed about taking her to a movie. When the bell sounded, Teresa looked up and their eyes met. She smiled sweetly and gathered her books. Her class was French, same as Victor's.
Can I read it?
I bet she wanted to say.
Sam, do you want to read the next one?
Stop her.
Read that for Sam.
They
Okay,
were
Sam.
among the last things to arrive in class, so all the good desks in the back had already been taken. Victor was forced to sit near the front, few desks lower than Teresa, while Mr. Bueller wrote French words on the chalkboard. The bell rang and Mr. Bueller wiped his hands, turned it off, and said brown shirt.
Good. Okay, so
How long can I read?
you want to read until line 41?
Yeah. Bonjour, braved a few students. Bonjour, Victor whispered. He wondered if Teresa had heard him. Mr. What's his name? Bueller. Mr. Bueller said that if the students studied hard at the end of the year, they could go to France and be understood by the populace. One kid raised his hand and said, "What's populace?" The people of France.
Good. Abigail, do you want to read the next part? We are on 41. At the top. Good.
This few. Alright, thanks.
Camry, do you want to read on? We're on 43. Hi. Read until 46.
Okay. While we were reading on the grammar, he said,